directed by Patty Jenkins. This is going to be our non-spoiler review. We're going to also have a spoiler review up, as well as Easter eggs, references, and trivia for the film. Now, my first thoughts that I was thinking right after I saw this film about the DCEU was a message probably from my good friend John McClane, where he says, "Welcome to the party, pal." Yeah, as you can tell, this film was above average. This movie is really good. I love this movie. Yes, I'll go into a little negative stage where I put a 64% Rotten Tomatoes prediction, but that was also because I thought the movie got the last two DCEU films had really low scores, so I thought increasing it by 40% or higher was being a little more optimistic, and I'm glad I was wrong. I mentioned that in that video. I want it to be 90% or higher, and this movie was everything I could have hoped for and more. I mean, like I said, I've been waiting for this character for so many years, and I really thought Patty Jenkins really understood this character, and I thought Gal Gadot really did a great job, even better than she did in Batman v Superman. Obviously, she had a more bigger role in this film, of course, but she did a fantastic job through a lot of criticism and hatred towards her, so, from some people. So I thought she did an incredible job. She really fit the physicality, and she felt like Wonder Woman.
Well, yeah, this movie definitely did a lot of things right, but the thing I think they got right the most was the characters. Gal Gadot did a really, really good job, and she really made you kind of feel, her whole upbringing and her whole kind of, coming of age type story. Because she's definitely very naive in the beginning, and she thinks she can just do this and solve this and that. But especially when she goes back into the real world, you see her discovering things for the first time. You see the looks on her face when she sees a baby, or she starts to feel all these feelings. So I thought she, for one, did a really, really good job, and Chris Pine also did a really good job in this movie, and their chemistry together was kind of, for me, what was the best part of the whole movie. Just when he first goes to her island, he has no idea what's going on, and he's learning a bunch of things, but then when she goes, back to the normal world, she's discovering all those things, and I thought that their chemistry was pretty good with them kind of going through all that.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I mean, their love and their chemistry and their interaction, that had me the thing I was most invested in. Obviously, seeing a great origin story like a la Batman Begins, I'm always, or Spider-Man 1 even, I'm down for always a really good origin story. So I thought this movie is such a great origin story for Wonder Woman, and like you said, I love seeing the growth and the progression of the character. As you said, she starts off so young and naive, and then you get to see her grow, and kind of like a fish out of water story, kind of like Thor, or when you get to Earth, or rather when you get from Themyscira to the.
And that's where a lot of the humor comes from too. Just her not knowing how to handle a certain situation, or Steve Trevor trying to guide her through without being too obvious. But some of the comedy was stemmed from that.
Definitely, and just going into the humor too, I gotta say, on some of the trailers, I was enjoying some of the humor I was hearing. I was just kind of worried that they were gonna go into too Marvel jokey, and not that I mind the Marvel jokes, of course, but I'm just saying I thought they were gonna go a little too much, just overboard. And I thought what they did in this film really worked. It was a lot of organic, I wouldn't say jokes, just humor. A lot of organic humor that came from Gal Gadot even, and from Chris Pine too. I loved, again, their interactions together. Just to really, the more times that they gave little things where they're talking about certain things, I just kept on getting more invested in these characters, and I love how they didn't rush the romantic portion of their relationship. It really took their time, and it progressed really well. I loved it.
And a lot of those situations were pretty awkward, but in a funny way. Yeah. So their little conversations back and forth during certain scenes. We'll get into that more in the spoiler review, but I think this movie did a really good job of not trying too hard. They just let it come naturally. It was organic, and it just didn't seem like they were trying so hard to do any certain thing. They let it flow naturally.
Yeah. Also, as a humongous fan of Man of Steel, other than Jonathan Kent's death scene in that film, I'm a humongous fan of Man of Steel, and I gotta say, this is the best DC film since The Dark Knight back in 2008. Yes, it's
probably.
That's my
I'd probably say that.
So, but I just think this is such a big win, and Patty Jenkins too. I just want to go into her for a second. This watching this movie makes me hate Thor 2 just so much more, because she was originally supposed to be the director for that film. She had a whole different storyline. She wanted to go into Thor and Jane, into the relationship of that, which is clearly not really into that movie. It doesn't go in depth, but we're going to go in that whole review. But I just think Marvel really missed an opportunity, and I know that was more of a bridge film, just kind of connecting to get to the next one. But after what I saw Patty Jenkins do in this, and especially Monster also, she understands characters so well, and she just really digs deep. And again, she does a great job of progressing the story and progressing the characters at the same time, making you care and being invested in these relationships, these interactions. Also, too, the script and the story, too, I believe it was Alan Heinberg, Zack Snyder, Jeff Johns. I'm probably missing one other writer who did this. Great job. I thought the really good story and script.
Definitely, that's what a lot of the other DC movies I think suffered from a little bit, was the script and story were just not that good. Like, the action and the visuals were great, but you didn't really care about the characters at all. They're just kind of going through what's going on in the movie, which is not even that coherent. But in this movie, they had a simple story, but it was to the point, and the characters just did a great job, and the script definitely helped them too.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, going into the action, which I love too, a lot of the action and a lot of the locations and set pieces really reminded me a lot, visual imagery wise, of 300. Also felt a little bit of Troy too, Lord of the Rings.
Certain fight scenes especially.
Yeah, these are good things.
Yeah.
I love all three of those franchises. So I mean, seeing these kinds of things. Reminding me of them visually, imagery-wise, and also doing and executing in ways that are as good as them, just really made me happy, especially the action, too. Like, a lot of the times where Gal Gadot, Robert Wright Penn, or Connie Nielsen as Hippolyta, or Diana, when they're fighting, I really feel a lot of the times the actors are really themselves fighting, and they make it feel more like you're badass. It's very clear what's going on. There are a few times where they go a little, some slow-mo, but the reason I didn't mind that is because she's a god. She moves at such a fast speed and pace that you gotta a little bit see what's going on, and maybe a few times they went a little too much, but it didn't bother me because I loved what I was seeing. It was entertaining, it was fun, it was great to see Wonder Woman kicking fucking ass.
Yeah, the action was sick. They did use a slow-mo a couple too many times, I thought, but it was still cool when they did show it, and like you get to see her doing these spinning kicks. And
so
I thought
cool.
The lasso was the sickest part.
Cool.
Anytime she was using the lasso, it was just awesome. So I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, no, and too, when the lasso glows and how, obviously it's the lasso of truth, so, not spoiler, if you know anything about the lasso of truth, makes you tell the truth. So I thought they used that effectively, not only for comedic timing, but also weaved into the storyline. I thought it was very appropriate how they used that, and also then when she's in battle using it, she looks as badass, if not more so, than Catwoman with a whip or with her lasso.
More badass than Catwoman.
Yeah, definitely. But Catwoman's still a badass, We love good DC female characters. So, but yeah, I love the action in this film, and I thought Gal Gadot, just the physicality of her, I really thought she sold being this Amazonian princess, as Diana Prince, and she was incredible. Again, just a lot of these fight scenes, I was really convinced that she was doing it. And there was a couple also action sequences just where, like, just not going too spoilery, just like where a character's jumping off a horse and flipping over and shooting arrows, like some really cool maneuvers and some sick stuff in
Definitely
there.
some cool scenes and with bows and arrows and just, it's really awesome.
I guess that's for my Lord of the Rings.
Probably.
I don't know. All right, so our favorite quote, I'm going to cheat a little bit and give two quotes. One of my favorite quotes in the film was by Samir, where he says, "So you're saying there's an island full of women like her with no men? How do we get there?" I love that line. Again, just adds more of that organic humor throughout the film.
I think mine is right around that same time too, where they're like in a bar, then she comes in and she just like, easily beats up somebody, and she's like, and that one guy too, he's like, "I'm both frightened and aroused."
Yeah, no, that was funny. And then my other favorite line I loved in the film is when she sees the baby, she goes, "Oh, a baby!" And then he goes, No, it's not made out of clay. I thought that was very humorous. Again, just little touches like that just go a long way. So that was a very good quote I loved in the film. All right, so wrapping this film up, as I said, I really loved it. This film is really well paced. It's well directed. It's very well acted. The action is very good. The humor is very organic and really works and gets you invested in these characters. The relationships are very meaningful. There's a lot of human depth and emotion in this film. There's a lot of good humor, as I just mentioned. Also, too, the cinematography, some of the best cinematography I've seen in some of these locations. This film was just so gorgeously shot. I love the score by Rupert Gregson Williams, I believe, was the composer. He did a phenomenal score. I love that Wonder Woman theme, too, whenever she's kicking butt, too. Did a really good job getting you emotionally engaged in sad and happy moments and kick-ass moments. So this film really did a great job and really sets the standard for how a female superhero film should be. Unless you think Catwoman was better, then you got problems. But this movie was amazing. I loved it. Seen it twice. Can't wait to see it again. I'm going big on this one. I'm giving Wonder Woman a 9.5 out of 10.
That's pretty big.
Yep.
I definitely like this movie a lot. I don't know if I'm going to go that high. I think I'm going to give it an 8. I really had nothing wrong with it. I thought, especially Gal Gadot was just really, really good in this movie. You really got to she really told you a story without even saying anything, with just like the emotion in her face and her eyes. Like, I thought she did a really good job pulling that off, and Chris Pine was really good too. This movie really does a really good job with its characters. That's kind of what drives the whole movie. The action's great too, the score and all that, but it's really the characters and the bonds that you get between them that really makes you care about this movie. So, all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let us know what you thought about it in the comments section. If you like these videos, you can hit the subscribe button.
See you guys next time.